Welcome to the Oklahoma Outdoor Adventures Podcast, brought to you by Yellow Hat Outdoors. Welcome to episode 4 of the Oklahoma Outdoor Adventures Podcast. It's me, Glen.
It's me, Hudson.
How you guys doing today? And I don't know who I'm talking to because it's just me and Hudson right now. So I'm probably talking to my little voices in the back of my head. But, dude, having a good season so far. Hope all you guys are getting out in the woods, on the fields, in the water. Got a lot going on in Oklahoma in the wintertime. And today, going with a little waterfowl theme.
Switching it up a little bit. Been hitting the whitetail kind of hard.
Yep.
But we know a lot of you guys love waterfowl hunting. Me personally, I've never been. But you know who's been a lot? Our boy Glen Adams right here.
And by a lot, we mean not that much. But hey, I love going. I do. I love it. I don't know why I like it so much, but I truly love going.
You maybe don't love it so much whenever you wake up at 4:30 in the morning.
God, no.
To get out into the freezing cold water.
Yes.
But
yeah, I saw like a TikTok sound, and it was like, "Hey, Mom, I had 8 hours of sleep. I'm feeling great." And then it was like, "Over the past 3 days." And I just feel like that is like duck season in a nutshell right there. Like, you got to get up pretty early if you're going to go scout, unless you're like lucky and have like someone that doesn't work on Fridays or something. And then like you got to get up freaking early to hunt. I don't know. It's a not sleeping much ordeal.
Waterfowl hunting, from what I understand, because Glenn and all of our other buddies are big waterfowl hunters, it's a long process that goes into it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work to figure out where to hunt, where to set up, what days to go, and even then you put in a lot of work, and sometimes it is not that rewarding in terms of how many ducks or geese or whatever you're shooting.
Yep.
But
sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is.
And that's what keeps you coming back.
and yeah, you've had some pretty memorable hunts. But you've been out how many times this year so far? Like 4? 3 or 4?
Probably about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I don't know. My goal started out, I was going every weekend. You know, like a true weekend warrior. I was going to be out there every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And the newly married life makes hunting, it puts a little squeeze on it, per se. And I'm learning how to do that because it's kind of hard. I thought that I needed to, I thought I was going to be able to hunt more than I am. And that's okay. I chose to get married, but, and I'm happy I did it. Don't get the wrong idea. But there is the side of things that it's hard to balance that. And so, not quite pulling off the every weekend thing, but we're not making a bad stretch of it. So my goal this year actually was, there's a new app called the Hunt Proof app, and it's basically a journal for waterfowl hunting. So you mark down where you went, basically how you hid, what the weather was. It has, weather app kind of built in there. And then, windage, all that stuff, what your hide was, and what ducks you shot, how many, then a spot for, notes, who you went with, and some pictures. And it's pretty cool. But I was like, hey, this is my year. Because I've been hearing people talk about, having a diary or a journal. Like some old dudes that are like, "Oh yeah, man, I've been keeping a journal since 1980s of all of my hunts or all of my fishing trips." I'm like, "That's sweet. I'm gonna do that." That hadn't quite panned out. I think I'm probably like 75%.
Journaling for anything is hard to like get into the groove of. Like I have a journal and I don't write in it as much as I should or need to, and honestly, I feel like I really want to, because just being like, so I studied history in college. I'm a big history nerd, and it's so cool reading the journals of like Teddy Roosevelt and like stuff like that, and like they're detailed and like you know exactly what's going on in his life, and then you know like his personal feelings of that. And I think it's also just a super good self-reflective exercise on being able to get your thoughts down and then seeing them. And I don't know, I think it's very beneficial to oneself to be able to journal consistently about anything. From a hunting standpoint, it can be very beneficial because you can get better.
Yep.
Because you can go back and look at, be like, I shot only one duck this day. Well, why did that happen? Was it just because I'm a bad shot, which could be.
We'll get into that.
Or is it because maybe I made the wrong decision on where to set up because of the weather, or maybe just the time of year whenever the migrations happen, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm not a big waterfowl hunter. I don't know all the details that go into waterfowl hunting, but journaling can be very beneficial, and I'm with you in wanting to be able to do it more and more consistently.
Yeah. I think it literally can help any aspect of your life that you want to improve in, like your faith, your hunting, your like exercise journeys. You can log your goals and stuff. Heard freaking Jocko podcast 347.
Get some.
Yeah. I heard him talking. He literally has like all of his, like, he has these little notebooks that he writes in his workout plans, and he has them like for like the last 20 or 30 years. Like, that's freaking sick to look back on and be like, dude, I used to bench like 125 and now I'm at 425.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm getting close to.
Yeah. I was about to say, you're about at that mark.
Yeah. But like, it's far from my goal, to say the least.
Sure.
I mean, I've been in the 300 since middle school, so 400 is not that impressive. So
yeah, Glen turned down D1 scholarships to study birds.
I did, and it was worth it. But anyway, I'm trying to think. Back to hunting. Anyway, so yeah, I've logged, I think, about 75, 80% of them. My first one of the season was like, it was just fun. Like a lot of mine, I'm a total weekend warrior. Like I just am. That's who I've accepted it. I wish I was like a 5-day-a-week kind of guy, but just with my job, I can't do that. My wife is about to go into medical school, and I'm thinking if I ever get to be a stay-at-home dad, that could be a reality for me. Not getting my hopes up, but it could be.
My hopes are up.
It could be a potential chance. So, but yeah, I'm a total weekend warrior. So either I have to choose, I'm going out hunting blind just based on kind of what I saw the weekend before, or what I know about the area on Saturday, or I scout Saturday, hunt Sunday morning. But I like to go to church, so I try and avoid that. So a lot of my hunts are blind, but the good ones I've scouted the day before, and I kind of know what they're doing. But yeah, opening morning, kind of went out blind, have a buddy with some land about an hour and a half east of my house. We got up nice and early, got out there. It was cold opening morning. It was like 20. Like, I mean, I've never experienced that. Normally, it's like, you wear just a long sleeve shirt. It's pretty hot. Skeeters carrying you off,
Yeah.
But it was actually like beautiful. But there was like just a perfect little breeze coming through. It wasn't cold. But yeah, so it was cool because it was a north wind kind of day, and we're hunting a pretty big pond. So a lot of times either there's birds that are roosting on a portion of it, or are coming back midday. You should see it like just 10 minutes before dark, like way after shooting light. But as you're picking up the decoys, it's crazy.
Just a freaking bird powwow.
Yeah, like it's literally a bird sanctuary. Like they are just the skies are just dark with them coming in there. It's awesome. But we went out for a little morning hunt out there, and it was great because we kind of have our normal spot we like to sit, but Oklahoma's been really dry this year. Like really, really dry. mean, it's probably rained like 4 inches since July.
There's some really cool pictures of like an aerial photo of just like Oklahoma City before the drought and then after the drought and like, well, during the drought, I should say, not after the drought, because kind of we're almost still in it.
Yeah,
and
I would say so.
It's wild seeing the vegetation, like the color change and like the this isn't the right word, but depreciation.
Yeah, like degradation or whatever. Yeah.
Yes, of the fauna and stuff. It's wild to see it. Then I don't know. It's been kind of brutal.
Yeah. It's been a bad year to be a plant or an animal outside.
Yeah, it's been a bad year to be a food plot for some whitetail hunting. So I know how that is.
Yeah. So the pond that we normally hunt, it's surrounded by this kind of grass stuff. It's about waist high. It's called a sedge. You can look it up. The exact species, we may never know. But it's an aquatic kind of plant, like a wetland plant. And it surrounds the whole edge. So normally what we can do is bring a little chair, little stool, and that chair will be just the seat of it will be just out of the water or just barely under. And so you can kind of sit in that. You're under the edge of these reeds, and then you can hunt the water. But it was really dry. Like, it was dry not only in those sedges where we usually sit, but about 2 feet out or 3 feet out from. So there's like a mud flat. And so we started out, there was just 2 of us, luckily, so that always makes it way easier to hide. There was 2 of us, and so we were trying to figure out, where do we sit down? Where do we sit a ways back off of it? Do we sit like on the mud flat? Do we sit in the sedge? How do we hide here? Because this is just totally different than it normally is. Because if stuff short stops you because it kind of sees you but it's not sure, and you're right on the edge of the water, it's not a big deal. Like, they're still well within range. But if you're really hidden and they're still kind of short stopping and you can't figure out how to get them into the decoys, then you're just kind of screwed.
Yeah.
So it took us a little while to figure out where to sit, what we wanted to do in that regard. But we set up and we went for kind of a rough sea pattern. But because of where the water levels were, we didn't get to really open up it's called a kill hole. So basically, whenever you set up decoys,
that was my nickname in high school.
Yeah, kill hole. Like cheese hole. God, because you stink.
Continue.
Yeah. Don't take that any other route. But anyway, so yeah, basically you set up a spot where those ducks and geese might land. And so you want to basically make it inviting with the decoys, but they land into the wind. So you want that opening to be at a spot where your decoys are blocking them from going any farther upwind, but not blocking them from coming into the spread. So whether that's kind of like a V, whether that's kind of like a C, whether it's like a Nike J swoosh kind of thing, however that is, you want to set up to be inviting for them.
I'd set mine up to be an H.
An H.
For my name.
For Hudson. I like it. But there is like a lot of people that are like, well, I do an X, so they have 3 spots to land. Like, there's a whole...
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of thoughts about it. So if you can think about it, someone else has probably thought about it first, but you should try it because most people just go with the classic C or kind of J. But anyway, we kind of opted for the OG, the C. It's early in the season. We're not too worried about trying to spice up the spreads. And just based on how the water levels were, is a pretty small kill hole, which I don't think helped us. But we got it all set up and got sat down, and the birds were not landing close. Like, they just weren't. Let's also just put it out there. Me and my buddy that were out there are not the best shots either. I mean, I came out dove season, I was on. I don't know, like, I mean, I was on. I shot some skeet this summer. I was feeling good.
I was there.
I shot.
You
Yeah,
were.
I was on.
Yeah.
I'm not usually that good of a shot.
I was proud.
Thank you. It was based off of your teachings, Sensei.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was dialed in this summer, dude. Dove season, I was slaying, and then I don't know what happened. I mean, it was bad.
Just a complete capitulation of shooting prowess.
Yeah, yeah. And it was like, not only were we shooting bad, but the birds wouldn't die. So like, you would even land them and shoot them, and then they would fly off or take 8 more shells to not swim off. And so it was just a nightmare situation for our pocketbooks, after paying for all those. But luckily, been hoarding those ever since the COVID year of not having bullets, got scared and panic bought a lot of them. So we're in a good spot on shells still. But anyway, so yeah, we had a bunch come in, but it was hard to find a spot to hide. And then the problem was where we were sitting, they wanted to almost land on our backs. But if we weren't sitting there, then they could see us or they weren't working right. Mm-hmm. So the spot that we ended up having to sit, wind's kind of coming over us. We're kind of looking into the sun, and the birds are coming into our back. So it was just, and we suck at shooting. So, I mean, it was literally it was one of those just kind of shite show hunts. But it was fun. We ended up scratching out 4 or 5 birds, which, based on the day, we should have had a limit, sure. But also,
what's the 2-man limit?
6.
Okay.
So easily had probably 30 or 40 birds within range.
Oh my gosh.
The amount we shot at, maybe closer to 15 or 20. And yeah, the amount down was around 4 or 5. So
not a great ratio.
Not good. And the amount of shells for those 4 or 5, we won't even get into. Because there was a couple of times we looked at each other and went, we might be done shooting with shells before we're done killing birds. So anyway, but it was cool because, we had a fun hunt. Also, something we tried out was a jerk string, which is cool. Basically, stop laughing over there. Basically, it has this thing you tie on to an anchor, and you throw it out there, and and it's an anchor on one side, and it's like some elastic rope, and then you tie it around your waist. No, I'm kidding. You tie it around the anchor, and then you attach it to a few decoys, and you put it in the middle of all your decoys. So then whenever you pull on the string, then it moves the decoys and creates ripples.
How often do you move them? Like, do you do it whenever the ducks are flying in? Is what you kind of want to do?
Yeah. So I'm fairly new. I've never experimented with one. So I'm trying to figure out the exact recipe for it. But my I'm still giggling. Your face over there. No, the exact recipe is kind of something I'm still kind of dialing in. I think the main thing is that ducks don't just sit still on the water. So on a day that there's not a lot of wind, if I can be doing that to create ripples and cause some movement, that's good. Yeah. On a windy day that all of the ducks are moving, it'd probably be good to cause some extra movement kind of closer to the middle of the spread that really showed, maybe some ducks just landed here. They're not sure where they're going.
Yeah.
So what I kind of like to do is I would let them pass, and then kind of as they were starting to circle back around and getting close to seeing our spread again, I would give them give it some pulls and some movement to really get those decoys moving. And I really think that was kind of the ticket for the day. We've had a lot of hunts out there, where they didn't want to do it. And so I think that movement really helped pull them in.
That's cool.
So that's something I think, a lot of people underestimate the value of the movement of, using. A lot of people have like the spinners they use for dove hunting. A lot of people have like, there's ones that spin around and like shoot water and cause all sorts of ripples and stuff. And then, a jerk string kind of does the same thing. So, I don't know. It's like an old school technique that a lot of people don't use that much anymore. So I'm trying to figure it out, get it dialed in. Yeah. But I think that was really a big ticket for it. But my other hunts have been really nothing spectacular. They've been fun hunts. Haven't got skunked yet, which I feel like is pretty good. Most of them have been here local. We have some city lakes that you can hunt. You can draw blinds on for the season. And luckily, some of my friends have drawn those, and makes it easy to just sneak out early in the morning. Not so early, actually, because you're close to home.
Yeah, that is very nice. We have one of the lakes is, a minute and a half away from.
Yeah. If I was like a baseball player, it might be a stone's throw. You know what I mean? Like literally. No, I'm like 2 blocks from it. So that makes it so easy. Plus, a lot of banded geese out there. But that's any city area. I mean, that's just how it goes.
Well, hey, explain the banded geese and duck real quick for people that don't know.
Yeah. So biologists have been banding birds for a while now. I'm not sure when it started. Probably like literally like in the 70s. Like been a long time thing. It's not just waterfowl that are banded. Any little songbirds, all the way up to cranes, geese, big birds, hawks, all that stuff is banded. But basically it's a way to learn their migration, basically their movements. So what'll happen is during some time of the year, they will catch birds. And so it depends on the type of bird, how they do it, where they do it. Songbirds, they will just set up these little things called mist nets in the woods, basically completely see-through clear nets, just cut a little lane out of the trees, and these birds fly through, get tangled up in them. And then you can pull them out and put a little band on them. Then you write down the number on that band and you submit it to this national database. If the birds you catch happen to have a band, you get that number, you re-release them, and then you can still submit that data. So basically it's a way to say, hey, this bird was banded in Michigan on August 5th, and here it is, 3 years later in Oklahoma on November 10th. So it's like, hey, so in one way it provides ages, another way it provides, a distribution of where it lives, and in another way, it kind of helps the timing of their migrations and stuff. But for waterfowl, they're banded in the summertime whenever geese are specifically when they don't have their flight feathers. So birds molt their feathers. Fun fact, geese are actually flightless for a little while in the summer whenever they're raising their young. And so that's the time that they're banded because you can literally just kind of corral them. And then, I mean, it's an absolute knockdown, drag-out fight, but you can get them banded. So bands in the waterfowl world are kind of like a crown jewel. Like if you got some on your call lanyard, then you're extra cool. Now, let's face it, some of them on people's lanyards come in the night in the city parks. Let's just face it, people, they want to look cool, so whatever it takes, they're going to do it. But there are definitely, it depends on the area that you're at, if you're near a place that they do a lot of banding or not. But anyway,
and it's kind of you can like whenever you get a band, you can see where that bird came from,
Yeah.
right? So like
Yeah.
you could get a geese that was from friggin' Ontario or something like that. Like,
Yeah, that's the cool thing is when, like a lot of, let's say like speckle bellies, for instance, a lot of those
that
literally
was another one of my nicknames from high school.
speckle belly. He had a fungus for 5 years. No, like speckle belly geese, a lot of them actually spend the summer in Russia. And so these birds literally fly from Russia down to Oklahoma and West
What?
Texas. Yeah. And so just like whenever you hear that kind of thing, or like you see this thing was banded in the Arctic Circle, and you're like, dude,
That's crazy.
I'm on Route 66 down here,
Yeah.
you know, and here's this bird. So yeah, it provides a lot of cool stuff. Really cool is when you're like, dude, I just harvested a 10, 15, 20-year-old bird. Like, that's cool stuff. So it's just a cool trophy, cool way to, get to interact with your birds and stuff. So the other thing that goes on in Oklahoma this time of year, which we'll have an expert on before too long to talk about this, is trout fishing. So Oklahoma has trout fishing year-round in two spots. The Illinois River below Lake Tenkiller and the Lower Mountain Fork River below Beaver's Broken Bow Lake. It's in Beavers Bend State Park down near Broken Bow in Hochatown, Oklahoma. So very far southeast down there, down in Squatch country. And it's crazy. Beautiful place down there. Piney woods. It's nice. It's exploding. It's like a literal tourist town down there. But then in the wintertime, they're stocked in other places. So Blue River in Tishomingo, Oklahoma. A lot of Texas implants sneak up I-35 for a little Blue River roundup. It's, I don't know, 2 hours and maybe a little tiny bit of change from Oklahoma City. Super convenient. It's probably my favorite place to trout fish in Oklahoma. Then we have some local ponds. I'm not sure the local ones in Tulsa, but Oklahoma City, there's Route 66 Pond and Edwards Park, which is on the east side of town and west side of town. So, pretty easy that you can do that here close. But it's a fun time of year. Get the fly rod out, maybe. You're not driving all the way to Colorado. You can just go for the day somewhere here in Oklahoma, still catch some beautiful rainbows, and take them home. So,
yeah, I'm definitely going to be trying to take advantage of that this year. I've never trout fished in Oklahoma, and like I said in an earlier episode, whenever I went up to Colorado, I went to Glen's dad's fly shop,
JD Adams Co.
JD Adams Co. Baby, best fly shop in Oklahoma.
Yeah, we'll give him a plug.
So I've been wanting to get into fly fishing, and actually my older brother has gotten into fly fishing, and he's actually stationed with the U.S. Army out in Germany, and he's been doing a lot of fly fishing out there in I think the Black Forest and stuff like that.
Which is sick.
Yeah, just having a blast. And he actually did some before he went over to Germany. He was stationed in Virginia, went into the Shenandoah Valley and did some fly fishing there. Caught some good
Some little brookies and stuff.
yeah, some little brooks and
Beautiful.
yeah. So he sent some pictures. So it's friggin' just beautiful country and very historical country. If anybody's a fan of the Civil War, anyways. Yeah, so I've been trying to get into it, and like I said on another episode, I got Glen's dad loaned me his how do you say it? Tenkara fly rod, which is it's an old Japanese style, right? And it's a fly rod without a reel. So I mean, pretty basic, like just a long piece of wood, pretty much with some fly line on it, had me on a grasshopper and a little mayfly drop down off of it.
Yeah.
I mean, probably had 15 to 20 feet of line on that bad boy, because you don't have a reel, so you can't let out more line. So it's kind of just like what you got is what you got.
Yeah, think of it as like you're growing up and you go fishing in grandma's pond with a cane pole.
Yeah.
It's just literally a section of line tied to the end of a very long pole. And yeah, it was designed in Japan. I almost said Japan. Japan, for basically these really small little tiny creeks that you don't even need a reel or that much line for. So it's a cool technique for sure and super simple. But
yeah, and so I was using that because the way I fish, I think I talked about this in the first episode that we had. Also, I'm a quadriplegic. I don't have use of my fingers, and a lot of my upper body is also affected. So with that, I have a leather forearm strap that goes onto my forearm, and then we slide a fishing pole into. But with these fly rods, the placement of the pole is actually at the bottom of the pole, and so it can't slide into the leather pouch like my bass fishing setup would. So instead of having to deal with that and kind of jury rig something up, Glen's dad let me use his Tenkara, which doesn't have a reel, so I could just slide it in regardless. And had a lot of fun doing that in Colorado. Me and my buddy Gibson, we caught a couple. It was both of our first fly fish, which that was awesome. And I had a blast, so I'm going to be hopefully taking advantage of this trout fishing that we're going to have going on in Oklahoma. And I did just borrow that rod, but I'm going to be going down there again here soon to try and get my own setup ready to go. And hopefully I'll be throwing up some pictures and stuff of some beautiful trout from the good old Oklahoma.
be freaking sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. We spent a lot of weekends. Basically, if you guys are just curious, I know you're dying to know. Here's how my weekends around the year work. November, yeah, I'm kind of chilling for a little bit. We'll start in January. We're finishing out duck and goose season. February, I got nothing going on, so you know what I'm doing for February and March? Trout fishing. Then turkey, then bass all summer, then some dove hunting, and then, dude, you're at bow season for deer and teal, which I like both of those, and then gun season, then waterfowl again. So pretty much year-round activities, but yeah, my trout fishing season is upon us, and love to go down. I mean, I really do. I like the Blue River. It's a cool place, cool public hunting spot. You can definitely get down there and do a little cast and blast if you want. You can't shoot guns, but
no blast.
Cast and twang maybe. That's pretty common in Oklahoma without people talk around here. Good grief.
I cannot wait to have my father on this podcast. He can tell you some stories of growing up here, of some hunting practices.
Yeah, a lot of spotlighting goes on at night and around here, boy.
Hey, man, that's Mississippi. That's what they do down there in the deep south, tell you that much.
It actually is crazy to hear people actually talk about straight up poaching.
Casual, too.
Yeah, it's not super uncommon, depending on where you grew up. So, Fun fact, if you're on Facebook and you see someone complaining about game wardens, odds are they've poached a few deer in their lifetime.
Yeah.
Maybe most of them.
Yeah, I've had a few interactions with game wardens, and every time they've been nice, relaxed guys. Never had a reason to complain about them. But, maybe, there might be a couple out there that are a little having a bad day one day or not. But usually, somebody's got some complaints about a game warden. They're probably doing something a little towing the line, maybe completely over the line.
Mm-hmm. Little fishing story, per se. Huh?
Sure, yeah.
Anyway, this is the time of year. Get out, do some trout fishing. We'll have my dad on pretty quick here, and he'll give a little rundown on some different flies to try out, different places within the spots I mentioned earlier to try out. Basically, if you're in central Oklahoma, head to the Blue River. If it's the winter time, head to the Illinois or, Broken Bow. If not, if you're in northeast Oklahoma, I'm going to say it, head over to Arkansas because you've got world-class fish just 3 hours away.
Which we should be making a trip over there, hopefully sometime early this next year, maybe in the spring sometime.
Yep.
And gonna catch some absolute trophy trout.
Yeah, literal freaking sharks.
Which where did not really a subject change, but JD Adams, your dad's shop had some guys go out to where recently? Venice? Is that what it?
Yeah, Venice, Louisiana. It's basically the farthest south point in Louisiana. It's where basically all of the fishing charters take off of. So if you're going to spend some time either out in the Gulf fishing and you're heading from Louisiana, that's where you take off. Whether that is kind of, I guess, coastal, I don't know the right word I'm trying to think of here, but you're fishing for reds and specks and flounder and stuff up fairly shallow. Or if you're heading out a little ways, a lot of those are going to be taken off from Venice. So, yeah, they have been putting some trips together, and one of those is a red fish or red drum fishing trip this time of year out there. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is some fun fishing, chasing those things. So,
yeah, and that's where you see. I don't know if you all have seen these videos of you'll get drone footage of guys fly fishing in some shallow water and you'll see these big old fish. You can see them going right to the fly and hooking on, and they're really sick. That's where they do that?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of times for the redfish, sometimes they'll be schooled up, but a lot of times you're in shallow, probably less than a foot tidal waters. Oh, well, maybe not less than a foot. Let's say 3 feet to 6 inches of tidal water,
which is a lot.
Very deep.
Yeah.
Very deep.
Yeah.
And basically what you'll see is a tail. And so they call that tailing. And you'll be chasing some tail on a little skiff.
Every day.
Exactly. Motto of my life. Basically, there will be a guy on the back of the boat with a big pole that will push the boat really slowly and quietly through the water. And you're literally hunting for these fish swimming around. So, yeah, you're looking for these tails, letting that guy with the big pole push you around, and you're chasing these big old red drum or red fish, as most people call them, around in the shallows.
So it's pretty much just straight up sight fishing.
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah.
Which is pretty fun. I love sight fishing, for largemouth and stuff, during the spawn and everything. It's pretty fun to do because you're well, I know there's for sure a fish right here, which admittedly, every time I cast largemouth bass fishing, I'm there's a fish on this log right here. I know it. And then I don't get a bite. And it's all right, I know nothing.
Yeah, I got let down again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all sorts of approaches to red fish fishing. But that's probably just the most common. That's what you see on Instagram and stuff, are the sick drone videos. Yeah. So if I ever go, I solemnly swear that I will take some drone footy while I'm at it. So
please.
Yeah. If you scroll through our Instagram, you can see my dad caught a huge red fish. I think 2 years ago. I think it was prime COVID time, but absolute monster red.
Tom catches monsters wherever he goes. And usually I'd be a little upset, but it's hard to be whenever it's a guy who knows so much about it. And it's it makes sense. Yeah, he would be the guy that just catches monsters.
Yeah. It's like you're playing soccer with freaking Ronaldo or Messi, and they keep scoring on you. You get a little frustrated, but then you're well,
it's the go.
I'm with the master.
Yeah.
So, anyway, freaking Tom just lights him up on the fly rod. He doesn't even take a spinning rod anymore. I don't even know why he has any. Because he just freaking whips that thing around and catches freaking toads. So, but anyway, that's a little mid-season update on my waterfowl. Hopefully, have some bangers still to come. It's going to just get colder here. Just going to get more birds. And just remember, if you want to chase trout, there's plenty of opportunities within the state. They're going to, if this sounds horrible, but they're going to die as the water warms up next summer. So take a few home if you want them. Try cooking them up. And
Fish and chips, baby.
fish and chips, that's right, straight out of England, 1776. Eat it.
Get some.
Get some. But yeah, plenty of fishing opportunities. Waterfowl is just going to get better. Deer season kind of on the decline. It's been a great deer season though. Speaking of deer season, got to finish up with this funny story of my buddy. Just, those classic idiots, friends that you have. You love to make fun of them. He's one of them. Just kidding. He's not an idiot usually, but sometimes he is. Anyway, the dude went out with the crossbow, hunting a bow-only public place, and so he's normally a rifle hunter. He's like, dude, I'm going to take my crossbow, go get me some. And so he goes out and hunts. This is this morning. He texted me. He's like, dude, I'm an idiot. And I was like, what? Did you miss like a big one? He's like, no, I didn't see anything. But I got home and I had a field tip in my crossbow to like decock it, because it's like an older one. So you just kind of shoot it into the ground.
Yeah.
And so he has a field tip and he shoots it in his backyard. It deflects off a rock and hits his gas line.
No. What?
Literally made a little leak in his gas line. And so then the freaking emergency natural gas people like come out. They're like, evacuate the area. He's like, no, I'm not leaving. Like, so they came out and like had to like shut down his gas and like,
oh my gosh.
come out there like immediately to fix that. And he was like, I didn't even know I had rocks in my yard. But he hit the one little rock in his yard and put a hole in his gas line.
That is crazy.
Oh my word. So I thought you'd get a kick out of that one.
That is so funny.
Absolutely insane. So anyway, that'll probably wrap it up for this one. Hudson, you got any thoughts, final things?
Yeah, make sure whenever you're decocking your crossbow, you don't shoot it at a rock in your yard.
Or a gas line.
Or a gas line, for that matter. But no, I think that'll do it for us. We're still gonna be going out deer hunting, waterfowl. Hopefully, gonna hit some Oklahoma winter trout fishing here soon. We're gonna keep you guys updated. If you got any questions for us, DM us, email us, let us know. What have you been liking from our episodes? What do you want to hear about? What do you want to know about? We're going to be happy to do any of those things for you guys. But thank you all for listening to us. And Glenn, final thoughts?
Dude, I got nothing. Thanks for tuning in to the Oklahoma Outdoor Adventures podcast. Give Yellow Hat Outdoors a follow on Instagram and Facebook. And share our episode with somebody if you liked it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thank you all.
We'll catch you next time.